This is Noah Eckhous with NavVis. We're here in Denver at GeoWeek 2024. I am joined by Chris Gilling, a Terrestrial Scanning Division Manager for McElhanney in the Vancouver office area. So thank you for joining me, Chris. How are you doing today? How's the show going?
Yeah, it's been a great show. Lots of things to check out. Lots of great new developments. Lots of SLAM scanners here. So yeah, exciting.
Can you tell me a little bit about your recent VLX3 acquisition and what you guys are primarily using it for?
Yeah, so we're really trying to push the use case for not just floor plans, which is traditionally what we've been using SLAM scanning for, but getting out and doing lots of topos. So that's a big part of our business, topos, and we're always looking for ways to do that more efficiently.
Great. So we were talking earlier, and you mentioned that you guys did a pretty long urban corridor there. Could you describe a little bit about how that project went and the size of it?
Yeah, so we've done, I think, a few sort of about 3 kilometer long stretches of topos. So that, streetscape, mixture of rural and urban, like built up kind of areas. So we've been finding out where the NavVis really excels and like where we might have to come back and infill. But to be honest, we're always being surprised by just what we can get away with, and while maintaining the accuracy, obviously. Great. It's a great tool, but we're always checking and verifying and making sure that it's not just a pretty point cloud, but it's giving us that RTK or better level accuracy. So.
That's awesome. Can you talk a little bit about how you assess the accuracy if you compare against other point clouds, or if you're doing naturals with your total stations?
Yeah, so we have compared it against our Leica P series data, and we're finding very close alignment to that. Usually, when we do a topo, we don't bring another scanner out just by default. Like we might infill certain areas with another scanner, but our check shots are either RTK or total station. So depending on the accuracy of the project, RTK is often good enough for most civil streetscape stuff. So we set control quite frequently just to eliminate any drift. We take check shots on utilities and that sort of thing, and sometimes have redundant control points too that we can get residuals on and make sure that in between the control points we're holding that it's still maintaining that it's not drifting too much. So.
Very cool. Yeah. So you mentioned having a P series and being able to use that in combination with the VLX. I think you mentioned that your Alberta team is working on some process industry work. Can you talk a little bit about where you see the two devices working together and their relative strengths in an environment like that?
Yeah. So I haven't personally been involved in those projects, but we do have a comparison sheet we send out to clients showing what you can get with the two technologies. I think traditionally those sort of environments, if we're doing high accuracy work, we've always done with terrestrial scanning, lots of control, network adjustment with total station, that sort of thing. And we'll still do the control that way. But the NavVis is has its strengths and weaknesses, I guess, against that. So, this is what our comparisons show, is that, we're getting quite close to the accuracy we would with terrestrial, maybe not quite the level of detail. We're at this point, you're really, really pushing what you can do with any SLAM scanner at this point, I think. So, if we're picking out bolt centers, flanges, and that sort of thing, and those are crucial to the a couple of millimeter level, you might want to use terrestrial scanning for that. If you're worried more about coverage and that level of accuracy and detail isn't so important, then NavVis is a pretty good option. Just to keep down the field time and the processing time and that sort of thing.
Very cool. So as far as bringing the VLX3 into your guys' workflow, can you talk a little bit about how it has been sort of integrating it and, taking a slightly different approach to your topos?
Yeah, so we always have to assess where we can use the NavVis. So it depends on what the environment is. So obviously you need nearby features and geometry. If you're in a rural bushy setting, that's probably not going to work so well. Like again, I said we're always surprised at where it does work, um, but yeah, we can cover most sites 80+% with the NavVis and just come back and either get a few RTK shots or come back and do terrestrial infill for those. But ultimately, we're really just slashing the field time from conventional methods, and I think it's just the efficiencies there are, speak for themselves. So.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So one last thing, do you have any stories from the field or your operators on how it is actually going out and using the VLX?
Yeah, so it is very easy to use. There's another huge advantage is with staffing and resources how they are right now and finding people, training people. This is a very easy piece of equipment to use. Um, yeah, I think you always need that survey knowledge if you want to get survey grade results out of it, and that's why we're always doing checks, control, and that sort of thing. But our surveyors know that side of things. So in terms of learning something new, the NavVis is great for that. It doesn't require days of training. We're getting results back from the field with pretty green staff. So yeah, that work from the business perspective that makes managing a project much easier.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.